The following is a semi-professional... fuck it, read it yourself. Alrighty, welcome back to Nihilhalla. So, Roman, I wanna have a little chat, a little serious chat, while we're waiting to hit around... Oh, we're in 50 grand. Okay, we should just go ahead and turn this on now. I want to have a little chat with you about what you think the word intermittent means.
Intermittent?
Intermittent.
Without looking at a dictionary, intermittent to me means every once in a while something happens.
Intermittent something means to use that every once in a while something happens. Okay, well, let's take this back to the spaceplane hangar, and we need to retrofit this a little bit. So, would it be fair to you to say, do you think to say that having a service intermittently, it would be unfair that you are charged regularly for said service?
Depends on what I were doing. Like, if I was waiting for, I don't know, say a subway, and intermittently the subway would stop constantly, I would not ride the subway anymore.
Okay, so you would say that in your example, the subway system, would be undesirable for being intermittent.
Yeah, correct.
Especially if you needed it to be a somewhat constant method of transportation. You know?
I mean, even something most recently when Netflix had their hiccup a couple months ago, where videos were getting error codes. Like, I've been a member of Netflix since they first started, and that almost made me quit out of frustration because my off time at the time was very precious to me, working over 60 hours a week. I didn't want to waste it fucking, play and pull the cable out, plug it back in. Did you try restarting it? So, yeah.
Okay. I think it's amusing that Time Warner Cable thinks that I should pay monthly for internet when I am getting what's referred to as intermittent connection. In fact, while we've been filming this episode, my internet has dropped at least once.
And we're in the Cincinnati area, folks, so anybody else experiencing this problem near us?
Southwestern Ohio.
We actually have our own region for Time Warner Cable?
Yep. Southwestern Ohio is its own region for Time Warner Cable, and I will tell you this right now.
There's a lot of big cities.
If you're in Southwestern Ohio and you have Time Warner Cable, fucking switch. And yeah, the speeds from Optics are better, and yeah, the uptime maybe not, great because Cincinnati Bell doesn't really know what they're doing with a fiber optic network. I have a friend in Milford who's had pretty good experience with them. But for the most part, I don't really like Cincinnati Bell because they, at least in the past, haven't been able to sell it to me as a single deal. They've always been a package deal, right? Like you had to buy this and internet in order to get internet from them.
Well, it seems like a great way to sell a phone, seeing as how nobody has a house phone anymore.
Right? So, this is the thing. Time Warner does that shit all the time too, where they say like, oh, well, you can bundle and save. Well, here's the thing. If you're bundling, you're not saving. You're actually spending more on the whole. You might be saving on each individual item, but unless you want both items in the bundle, you're not saving anything. What I find most amusing about Time Warner Cable right now is that they are charging me a $65 a month premium, which I am happily paying for internet when it works. I get decent speeds. It's not the fastest in the area.
But usually when all of us game together, it doesn't have a hiccup.
Let's follow this piece of shrapnel here. It's like a butterfly.
It's almost majestic. Oh.
Alrighty. Is there any more? Nope, this is it. Okay.
Wow, how anticlimactic.
Right? Okay, so here's the thing.
So since we're a review show, Neil, how would you rate the customer service you've received so far with Time Warner Cable?
Now, this is actually an interesting point of contention, Roman, because I would actually rate Time Warner's customer service above their information service, above their internet service. Their customer service seems to be willing to take care of the problem.
Dude, we should totally record them tomorrow when you talk to them at noon tomorrow.
Oh, yeah,
You want to?
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, so again, people, this is a review show, and we're basically reviewing
Customer service, really.
Yeah, they're customer service.
We will
tomorrow.
review anything.
So when I talked to them most recently, they seemed like they legitimately wanted to help with my problem, which is more than I can say for Comcast. Every iteration of Comcast I've heard was typically like the company just saying, well, no, fuck you, and here's why. So Time Warner doesn't have that problem, but the problem they do have is that their equipment is in an old network. Cincinnati's cable infrastructure is not very good. It's very old. It's very outdated.
Anybody who's not familiar with Cincinnati, we have a lot of not natural disasters, but our weather patterns change constantly. There's a lot of high wind, and the ground freezes and unfreezes all the time. So shit shifts in the ground, so we can't put a lot of cabling in the ground. It's all exposed.
Yeah. It's a very unpleasant environment for a cable network provider to actually like try to operate. So I have no misconceptions about this. Time Warner has a very tough job that they have to do.
But it's still their job because you pay them.
Right, and this is the other problem that I have. Intermittent connection, in my case, is caused by what's called a DOCSIS 3 T3 timeout, or basically an error code where my modem is not able to communicate at MAC level with the cable modem termination system.
So give us a little layman's terms what that means. Box A can't talk to Time Warner's box, right?
It's more or less what I'm saying,
Yeah.
but specifically...
Some people dumb like me, Neil.
Specifically, the T3 timeout can lead to a T4 timeout, which causes up to a 30-second interruption in communications with Time Warner's, host server. And perhaps the worst part of the worst news about that is that in having a 30-second interruption in communications, we have to worry about things like lost packets for that entire period, which of course is pretty much a foregone conclusion. The packets are going to be lost at that rate. So what I'm doing right now is trying to get a 35-degree climb, at which I
well, and then if you're doing anything, I mean, any other gamers out there, if anybody plays LOL, like in a game like that that's constantly basically streaming, you know how devastating it is to have a hiccup in your internet.
Yeah, exactly.
And if you do something, say, professionally, like play video games professionally, that makes you lose time.
And money.
Yep.
Now, one thing I would like to say is that Time Warner does seem to be wanting to help. They just maybe don't know how, because in order to diagnose a T3 error, which is usually caused by something called upstream interference, basically imagine playing the telephone game. Yeah, everybody I think has played it, where you tie a knot and pull it through a cup, and then playing with the telephone cups where you talk into one cup and the other person has to hold it to their ear to hear what's being said across the phone line, in quotation marks.
That's one way to play the telephone game.
Well, I'm talking about making like string telephones specifically. The telephone game is where
I'm gonna take a picture.
It's where you like whisper one thing. What are you taking a picture of?
Memories.
Okay. So like you can tie a knot like that. So upstream interference is basically the person talking is trying to talk to the person listening, but somebody has their finger pinched down on the line, so that the communication is not getting there as clearly as it should be. It might still actually get there, but it's not going as clearly as it should be. And then that can cause a T4 timeout, and the T4 timeout causes the modem to reset itself. Basically, my modem is constantly trying to tell the Time Warner modem termination system, which is either a street-level router or all the way back at Time Warner headquarters for southwestern Ohio, that it's having issues and needs maintenance ranging. It needs to talk to the Time Warner server and get a new IP address or something like that, and the Time Warner server is not actually responding. which, again, probably caused by interference in the line. Now, I've told Time Warner about all of this, but literally the only way they can possibly chase it down is to go from my house, where I've got all new equipment all the way up to the pole, and try to chase it from there. Oop, I just bumped the mic. And try to chase it from there all the way down back to their servers. And it is not going to work very well. It's going to take a lot of time, and it's going to cost them a lot of man hours, which effectively is money. But hey, Time Warner, you've got a 98% profit, you're boasting a 99% uptime, and I'm not fucking getting it. Alright.
In short, fuck you, Time Warner Cable.
Yeah.